In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to start off by first talking about what I like about the lights. I'm going to give you my experience about the lights, and then I'm also going to talk a little bit about some of the things that could be improved, and then I'll give you a conclusion. So the very first thing is I purchased these shred lights, and I'll be honest, like I talked about in my previous videos, I was a little hesitant to buy these lights because I saw in a lot of different groups, people would say things like, hey, there's no need to buy those lights. Why don't you just get a flashlight and mount them on your skateboard using P-clamps? And to be honest, I did that. I went out and I did exactly what they said. I bought some flashlights, used P-clamps and mounted them on the skateboard, and it went horrible. When I tell you I was riding, I broke some flashlights. A P-clamp broke a couple of times, and one time the P-clamp broke and the actual flashlight fell on the ground and I ran over it with my skateboard. And that could have been incredibly dangerous had I been riding fast. So that's when I decided, let me go ahead, give these shred lights an opportunity. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very impressed with the lights so far, and I still like them 600 miles into the game. So some of the things that I like about the lights is, first of all, I like the convenience of these lights. They're small, they're not heavy, but they give you a good amount of output as well. And when you look at these lights, when you look at them, when you talk about the output, there's multiple strobe patterns. So when you press the button, you can go from different levels of brightness, but then you can also get the strobe functionality, which is awesome, and that's something that I like about them. And when you pair that with the fact that if you buy these lights, and let's say you have them on the front of your board, and then you might also go with the night out pack, which is where the lights on your helmet and on the back of the helmet, this makes you incredibly visible, and it also makes it easy for you to see because you have the lights on the bottom of the board and you also have a light coming from the top. So I like the options that you have with these lights where you can do the strobe functions. We can set up the different types of brightness that you want to see with the lights. Another thing that I love about the lights is the portability. If you're somebody, you have multiple boards, you may be wondering, what do I do when I want to ride this particular board that doesn't have lights on it? And the thing I like about these shred lights is that if you have lights on one board, all you need is the mounts or the clips installed on the other board, and you can easily take the light off of one board and put it right on to the next board. And someone say, well, why is that so important? You get to save money. So if you go out and you purchase these shred lights, you don't have to buy 2 or 3, 4 different sets. If you have multiple boards, you can buy one set, buy the mounts, and put the mounts on each of your boards, and then you can install the lights on each board as needed. So one day you might want to ride the all-terrain board. Another day you might want to ride the street board. My family, we actually have the night outs package on all of our boards because we all ride, and I wanted the entire family to have boards. So that's another thing about this system, is that it's modular. You can go from one light to the next light, and it's not an issue, it's not a challenge. The next thing that I like about these lights, and this apparently is an improvement from the previous lights, is that I've never had one of these fall off, ever. And the perfect litmus test of this is my 8-year-old son. He rides his Wild Go 2S in the grass, in the dirt, off curbs, everything. And if his board, if he's riding his and his shred lights haven't fallen off, man, I'm telling you, they're hanging in there. And like I said, I haven't had any issue with my shred lights falling off. And that's the lights on the board. That's the lights that are mounted on my helmets. Never had an issue with them falling off. And that is a huge improvement because I heard that the first versions were not necessarily that effective in that capacity, that people experience times where the board would fall off, where the lights would fall off of the board. And that can create a pretty dangerous situation, if you understand what I'm saying. The other aspect that I really like about these lights is the different mounting options that Shred Lights provides when you purchase these lights. Now, they have different mounting options for different type of boards, all the way from boosted to other boards and standard mounts and so on and so forth. But one of the things I really like is that they've come out recently with sticky mounts where you can actually mount the lights on the bottom of your board. You can mount them on one wheels. You can mount them on helmets, all type of scenarios. So as a rider and somebody looking for lights, they have so many ways and methods that they can be used. Actually, with the board sitting right next to me, I have one of the sticky mounts mounted right under the board. So it lights up the whole board, and then even from the rear of the board, you can still see the red lights, but then it also gives it a really cool look. So I really like the fact that they have all of these mounting options so that really, no matter your situation, if you're a one-wheel rider, if you are an e-skate rider, you can use these lights. And I'll just be honest with you, I've even used these lights for reasons that had nothing to do with skateboarding. I've been in the house sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm looking for something, I need a light. I'll run right over to the board, snatch the light off, turn the light on, and I'm looking for stuff in the house. So I mean, they serve so many different purposes. Another element I like about the light is that they appear to have a pretty good water resistance tolerance. Now, I ride electric skateboards. I don't ride in the rain or anything like that, so I haven't really necessarily tested that, but the covers that are on the lights that kind of protect it from dust and water and stuff like that, they stay in place most of the time. So that's another element that I really like. Another element that's been pretty cool as well is the fact that they're pretty rugged. I haven't had any issues with them. None of my lights have broken. I've dropped them. They haven't cracked. Anything like that has occurred. So far, when you talk about from a perspective of being modular, when you talk about from a perspective of, is it lasting over time? Is it breaking? Is it falling off? All of those are things that have been going very well, I would say. Now to some of the things that I would like to see improved, or some of the things that could use a little improvement. One of the areas that I would say is the small flap that actually closes where you charge the shred light. I guess I can try to show it to y'all. Sometimes, occasionally, it doesn't happen too often, but sometimes it opens. It just opens up a little bit, but it hasn't been a big problem because it doesn't happen often. But then the other thing is, like I said, I don't ride when it's raining. So that hasn't been a really big issue. I don't know how they could fix that. You know, maybe, I know that, for example, the X-Way Pro Riot, they actually have a magnetic area where you charge. So when you close the flap to charge, it actually stays closed because it's magnetic. But you see, like this little issue that they have here, this is something that's actually kind of common with a lot of boards themselves when they have that plastic flap that is a device that keeps it sealed and closed. So that's something that I think could be, you know, maybe done a little bit differently, but it's not that big of a deal. The other thing that happens sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but occasionally, is that I'll be riding and the light will come on its own. I might hit a bump or something like that and the light will come on its own. And then if I notice it, I'll just turn it off. I don't know how they can maybe fix that. It's not something that happens all too often. And then if I hit a bump, all the lights don't come on. It might just be one of them that came on. So I can't really necessarily say why that happens, but it does happen occasionally. Really, those are my only nitpicks that I have about the shred lights. I've been pretty pleased with these lights overall. I have no major complaints besides what I've stated a little bit earlier in the video. My final thoughts on these lights. Some people who are on a budget may say, do I want to spend that much money on a light? And I'll give you a little bit of a personal story. One of the reasons why I bought these lights is because one time I was riding with my son on a trail on a belt line, and he had lights. We had regular flashlights, and he almost got hit by somebody on the trail who was riding a bike who didn't have lights on. And from that moment, I said, I'm not playing with these regular flashlights. I'm going to go ahead and go out and make the investment in these shred lights. And if you're someone who's riding on these e-skate type of, if you're someone who's riding these electric devices that go very fast, especially if you're riding in low light situations or at night, your safety is paramount. And I feel like for the value, and when you talk about all the things I've discussed in this video, the portability, the fact that they last, the fact that you can get the multiple strobe patterns, the fact that you can put it on one board or the next, multiple mounting options, I think you get a lot of value out of the shred lights when you add all those things up. And like I said, these appear to be a product that will last a long time. And even if you buy another board, the fact that you can put it on another one, these are things that make it a worth it investment and worth it initial first, investment on a board or e-skate. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the video, and as always, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Peace. This is how you can win a shred light. It's very simple. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. After we reach 30 likes, I'm going to go ahead and give away a light, and then I'm also going to have a second winner where I give that second winner some stickers as well. Now, check this out. If we reach 60 likes on this particular video, I will then bump it up and give out 2 lights. So a light to one person, winner 1, another light to winner 2, and then I'll also give out some stickers to winner 3. So the more likes that we get, the more lights that we're going to give out. I'm going to announce it on my YouTube channel by commenting, but then also I'll also put the winners on my Instagram page. So if you haven't done it yet, follow me on Instagram, Lansing Phillips on Instagram, Lansing Phillips on Instagram. Good luck to everybody.